だと。
放出するしかない。
ダメだ。
A Date Alive follows the story of Shido Itsuka, a high school student who finds himself in the middle of a strange phenomenon known as spatial quakes, which cause devastating earthquakes and distortions in reality. To stop these disasters, Shido is recruited by a secret organization called Ratatoska to use his unique ability to seal the powers of the mysterious and powerful beings known as spirits, who are responsible for causing the quakes. Along the way, Shido must navigate his relationships with these powerful beings, some of whom develop romantic feelings for him, all while trying to save the world from destruction. With a mix of action, comedy, and romance, Date Alive is a thrilling anime adventure that has captured the hearts of fans worldwide. The series kicks off with a devastating spatial quake wreaking havoc at the heart of Eurasia. Fast forward 30 years later, and we find ourselves in Tengu City, Japan, where the bubbly Kotori Itsuka and her doting adopted brother Shido reside. At the start of the day's festivities, Kotori and Shido make a pact to meet later at a diner. As Shido's classes come to a close, an alarm blares throughout the city, signaling the approach of another spatial quake and prompting citizens to seek refuge in designated shelters. Shido, unable to reach his sister, turns to his GPS to confirm her location, only to find out that she's still in the city, as promised. Braving the danger outside, Shido sets out to find Kotori, and that's when he encounters a spirit armor girl in the center of a massive crater caused by the quake. With the AST unit, a group tasked with eradicating spirits, closing in on the spirit, Shido bears witness to his popular classmate Origami Tobichi joining the fray as a member of the AST. As fate would have it, Shido finds himself aboard the airship Fraxinus, home to the Ratatoska organization, with the serious Kotori as the commander. Here, he learns about the spirits and discovers his unique ability to seal away their powers by making them fall in love with him. As Shido undergoes stage 2 of his training, he faces practical application upon real humans. He begins with his teacher Tamai Okamin, who is not alone in her admiration for him. Reina Murasami and Kotori assist her, and they all fall head over heels in obsessive love with Shido. Finding their behavior overwhelming, he runs away and bumps into Origami, who becomes his next practice partner. Unexpectedly, Shido ends up unintentionally starting a relationship with Origami, but just as things seem to be settling down, a spatial quake alarm goes off, and everyone prepares for the appearance of the Princess Spirit at Raisin High School. Amidst the chaos, the students are evacuated, and part of the school is destroyed by the spatial quake. But Shido, ever the hero, heads inside the school to confront Princess. As he approaches her, he makes a connection with her and names her Toka. However, their moment is cut short when the AST shows up and engages Toka from long range with their rifles, intent on killing her. But Origami sees Toka with Shido and assumes she is holding him hostage. Seeing that Shido is now her boyfriend, Origami battles Toka in close combat, but is injured in the process. The next day, as Shido rummages through the collateral damage, Toka appears before him, ready for their date. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. What is the most visually stunning anime you've ever watched? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now back to the recap. As the sun shines down on the bustling streets of the city, Shido and Toka are strolling hand in hand on their long-awaited date. The Fraxinus crew is watching over them from a distance, ensuring that everything goes smoothly. Toka's excitement is palpable, as she tries every food that comes her way. However, her lack of experience with dates leads her to believe that each new dish is a date, much to Shido's amusement. As they make their way through the shopping area, Toka is suddenly overwhelmed by the crowd, thinking that humanity is launching an attack on her. Origami is lurking in the shadows, observing their every move, while Shido does his best to keep Toka calm. They continue their journey to an arcade dominated by crane games, where Toka's eyes are fixed on a particular prize. In a moment of excitement, Toka accidentally reveals her bond with Shido. They then head to a cliff edge, where Toka finally understands what a date truly is. She realizes why the mecha people want to protect the world that is so kind, fun, and beautiful from destruction. Meanwhile, Origami is granted permission to eliminate Toka with a single blast, but Shido intervenes and takes the hit. Toka, filled with rage, attacks Origami with all her might. Just as she is about to deliver the final blow, Shido mysteriously returns to life, with his wounds completely healed. Falling from the sky towards Toka, he manages to intercept her attack just in time. With the city on the brink of destruction, Toka kisses Shido while they glide down to the cliff edge, and her astral dress disappears. She asks him to take her on another date. As Toka enters Shido's class, a fierce rivalry instantly erupts between her and Origami. Meanwhile, on a rainy day, Shido dashes through a shrine and stumbles upon Yoshino for the first time. Initially mistaking her for an ordinary girl, he carries on with his day. But at school, things heat up as Toka vies for Shido's attention by baking cookies, much to Origami's chagrin. Upon returning home, Shido is hit with some unexpected news. Toka will be residing with him. Why, you ask? Well, he's successfully sealed her powers and it's time for some training. Kotori fills him in on the details, reminding him that there are more spirits to seal. As the spatial quake alarm sounds during school, Shido rushes to investigate, only to find that it's Yoshino, aka Hermit, causing the disturbance. Toka stays put in the shelter, while Shido ventures out to confront Yoshino. But things take an unexpected turn when Toka decides to follow him and inadvertently witnesses their accidental smooch. Toka, feeling betrayed, reclaims her powers from Shido and sets her sights on Yoshino, provoking an all-out attack. However, Yoshino has a few tricks up her sleeve. Her angel Zadkiel allows her to escape the nearby AST. Meanwhile, Origami sets her sights on Yoshinon, Yoshino's puppet. Toka has been avoiding Shido ever since she learned about what happened between him and Yoshino. She's been struggling to come to terms with her feelings about the whole situation, but she decides to confide in Reina, hoping for some advice and clarity on the matter. Meanwhile, Shido is helping Yoshino search for her beloved puppet, Yoshinon. As they search, Yoshino becomes hungry, and Shido suggests they go to his house to eat. While there, Yoshino reveals that Yoshinon is not just a puppet, but also her friend, a strong, cool, and bold hero who embodies everything she wishes to be. However, just as Shido is getting closer to Yoshino, Toka bursts in, attempting to apologize but misinterpreting the situation entirely. Yoshino disappears, leaving Toka to barge out once again. Shido learns that Yoshinon is with Origami, who tries to make progress between them, but her mission cuts the conversation short. As it turns out, Yoshino is being targeted by the AST, but Shido has a plan to save her with Toka's help. As Toka acts as a decoy, Shido manages to break through Yoshino's barrier with Yoshinon and fulfill his promise to her. With Yoshino's trust in him established, Shido seals her powers. In the last few scenes, we learn that the housing for the spirits has been completed, allowing Toka and Yoshino to move in together. Before we continue, big shout out to Monster SG who commented, "Best romance anime Kaguya-sama love is war, I don't know my choice." When answering the question of the day on our Tomo-chan video, great opinion, we love that anime too. Toka and Yoshino are eager to visit the hot springs, so Shido takes charge and arranges for them to go to Tengu Gokuraku hot springs. However, the mischievous and perverted Kyohei Kanazuki tries to tag along and convince Kotori to join them, but his true intentions are exposed, leading to his punishment of digging and refilling a hole for the next week. In the meantime, Ryoko Kusakabe from the AST receives news that the DM Corporation is sending reinforcements, which dashes her hopes for a vacation. She's disappointed, but is convinced by another AST member to go to the hot springs instead. Initially uninterested, Origami receives a call from Shido, and overhears that he's going to the hot springs with Toka, which sparks her interest. While on the way, Yoshino receives loving attention from Shido, which frustrates Toka to the point where she collapses the road, causing chaos and disrupting the train the AST is riding. The AST eventually arrives at the hot springs, but Ratatoska intervenes to prevent contact between the two groups. Kotori orders Datetown to enter battle mode level 2 and opens fire on the AST, leading to a fierce battle that causes Yoshinon to fly off. In the midst of the firefight, Shido goes to find Yoshinon and is almost killed by Ratatoska's destruct mode. However, Toka comes to his rescue, and they are watched over by Origami and the rest of the AST members. Finally, everyone reaches the hot springs, only to find that Yoshino's actions have partially frozen the water. Fortunately, Kyohei has dug up a hot spring, which the group thoroughly enjoys. As the group relaxes, Mana Takamiya arrives in Japan. What will happen next? Find out on our next recap of Data Live.